leave anyone on registration? Okay. whole new service over here. A lot of people, more than last time for sure.
What up, G5? How we doing? Guys doing amazing? Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Y'all, this is my first leadership. I wasn't here last month, and so I'm so excited to be here tonight. Anyway, I'm so proud of you for being here. Way to make it out on a Wednesday night. Y'all, I don't know about you, but it took me a lot to get here tonight, but I know it is going to be worth it, amen? And so, it's going to be such a good night.
Okay.
I'm just so proud of you for investing time in yourself and in your leadership. If you don't know why you're here, you came because someone dragged you here. I promise you by the end of this night, you'll know why you're here. And it's going to be incredible. But we're so excited. Tonight's going to be incredible. There's a full packed night. My favorites are coming up tonight, so it's going to be incredible. But I just pray that you guys would lean in, take notes. PT always says it. If you want to live a noteworthy life, then you better take some notes. And so I'm excited. I challenge you this year, stay committed to this. Don't just come once and say that was nice.
Warmly enough.
It's 7,000.
Growth happens over time. It doesn't just happen once. And so it takes multiple commitments to really see who God's called you to be. And so I'm excited. It's going to be incredible. But I'm going to bring up Joshua, and then we're going to release all the incredible just moments tonight. So anyway, can I pray over the night, and then we'll hit it off. So Jesus, we thank you. God, we thank you for your presence. Lord, we thank you for the gift of leadership. God, we thank you that you set an incredible example, your son, as one of the most incredible leaders that we get to look up to. So God, we thank you that you're calling each and every one of us to another level. God, that you want to increase our lives, not just in our personal lives, but God, in our business, in our families, just every aspect of our life, God, I believe increase is coming this year to that. And so God, we just thank you for tonight. I pray that we would open our ears and open our hearts to whatever you want to say tonight. God, may we not leave tonight listening for someone else, but God, may we leave listening for ourselves. And God, that we would take something away from this night, and we would leave ready to start putting all this into action. Jesus, we love you so much. In your name we pray. Everybody said, Amen.
Welcome, Joshua.
All right. Are you excited?
Come on.
You ought to be. It costs $1,000 just to get in the room tonight. Now, if you treat it like it costs $1,000 a night, you're going to get what you need out of the night. But if you come in here like this is like whatever, but you're here tonight, and we're so grateful. We're honored to have you. And I'm honored that PT and Mama G, Blake and Bree, they trust me enough to just say welcome home to this incredible place. Tonight, many of you have, as Bree mentioned, I mean, some of you don't know somebody drug you in here, but you're in a place tonight where this is where leaders, we say little boys, they grow up in the presence of other men, and little girls, they grow into ladies in the presence of other ladies. And tonight we're in this place because we get to get filled up and encouraged and inspired by honestly the greatest leaders in all the world. We're pretty blessed here at G5. And PT and Mama G have done such an incredible job with this incredible community that we have here, this G5 church, and all these incredible leaders. But when we get a chance with Blake and Bree to hear from them, the wisdom and the knowledge, don't be mistaken by an age. There's a lot of wisdom in them. And when I get a chance to just talk, and we talk about what's going on here at G5, how they process, how they think, they're way, way, way beyond a year of saying, hey, he's 24 or 26 or 30. Okay, so I always say Blake's had the opportunity to sit at tables that most of us would just love the opportunity to sit at a table. And so I don't know where you're at tonight, but if you're in this place, something tells me you're here because you're a leader, you know you're a leader, and you've got a calling on your life. And so we're honored to have you. Blake's a leader's leader. He's got dreams and visions. Ever since I met Blake, he inspired me, he encouraged me, and he helped me to see things that I didn't see. And PT always talks about our picture of tomorrow. And that's what separates you and I, is our pictures of tomorrow. But this is a young man who's years beyond in wisdom, and he's got really, really incredible dreams and visions and pictures of his tomorrow. And I'm just so excited tonight for you to get to hear from this incredible leader. So I welcome my brother, Blake Go.
Check. How y'all doing tonight? We can do that a little better. It's the second leadership of 2024. How are y'all doing tonight? Are y'all excited? You ready? You ready? Is your seatbelts fastened? Because this is going to be a fun ride. So it's going to be awesome. But of course, guys, I love to have fun. Do y'all like to have fun? Do y'all like to have fun? Of course, I got to start off leadership with a joke. The Super Bowl coming up. A lot of you know this joke already, but how many of you know it's good to hear stuff over again, right? You know, it's good to hear it. But so this old guy was at the Super Bowl, and it was him, and there was an empty seat next to him, and another young man that was sitting there. And he was, watching the game, and the young man kept looking, noticing that nobody was coming to sit in the seat in between him and the old man. And he was like, this is so weird. These tickets are expensive, and why would nobody come? This is so weird. And it got to halftime, and finally the young man built enough courage to ask the old man, hey, what's going on with the seat? Did somebody buy the ticket? Why is nobody in the seat? And he goes, well, it was my wife and I's dream to always go to the Super Bowl. And we bought our tickets, and we were going to go, and we promised each other if one of us passes away, the other one would still go to the Super Bowl. And he was like, oh, that's so sweet. He goes, so my wife passed away, and so I kept my promise, and I came. And he goes, I'm so sorry for your loss. He goes, but could you have not brought a brother or a cousin or a nephew or somebody? And he goes, well, I would have, but they're all at the funeral today, so. You can't laugh at that. You can't laugh at anything, guys. So I think we're getting off a good start tonight, guys. But guys, I'm excited. I'm not going to be too long tonight because I get to bring up another special person that's here tonight. It's going to be amazing. But tonight I want to jump in real quick. I want to talk about 4 things to jumpstart motivation in your life. 4 things to jumpstart motivation in your life. To get started, I have 2 questions for you. 2 questions. Does motivation last forever? No. The second question is, does motivation should motivation naturally continue? Should it continually flow? Do you think it should? The answer is yes. Now, if y'all remember, I'm going to pull some school out for you in front of me. Okay, so I was going to check with my teacher, but back in 5th grade, how many of y'all remember the Newton's law of motion? Something in motion tends to stay in motion, right? Unless something on the outside affects its path. Now, how do you know it's important, no matter what you do, no matter what comes in your way, to never interrupt or distract you? Now, how many of you know you're like, well, I get distracted all the time? That's so true. Trust me, I'm dyslexic. I get distracted very easily. You're thinking, what does dyslexia have to do with getting distracted? Try reading a book with me. You'll get that later. If you don't know what it is, ask my teacher. She'll tell you. But there's 3 things I want to tell you real quick. Leaders don't anticipate motivation. These are things that sometimes cause issues in motivation. They don't anticipate it. Leaders tend to complicate it. And leaders tend to don't understand it. Now those are 3 massive things, and I could stay here the whole night on those 3 things. They tend to act. I love sometimes I can't read my own writing. This is great, guys. This is so much fun. But sometimes, that was a distraction. I just keep going. But how do you know that those 3 things are massive? So I want to jump into the first point, and it's simply a question. And I want to give you 4 questions tonight that I want you to ask yourself and take home and just do a little study. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for me? So the first one is, do you need an inward burst of motivation? Do you need an inward boost of motivation? Now, how many of you know in life sometimes it's easy to get distracted? It's easy to let things get in our way. It's easy to, while we're in motion, to let things outside of our control affect us. The greatest thing you can do, leadership without passion is just management. Leadership without passion is just management. I love what Mother Teresa said. Mother Teresa said, people come into your life as a blessing, or they come into your life as a lesson. Now, I want to believe that the blessings are the lessons, and the lessons are the blessings. Because at a young age, my family, my parents taught me perspective is everything. How you see a situation is everything. My dad and mom taught me at an early age, you're either going into a season, you're coming out of a season, or you're in the middle of a season. Now, what you do in those moments is everything. The motivation to keep you going is everything. The second one is, do you need to make leadership changes in your organization or your home or your church, wherever it is in your life? Is there things you need to change in that situation? Now, you're thinking, I think my leadership is pretty good, my team's pretty great. So one of the greatest things you can do is self-evaluate the situation you're in. And here's the second thing that you need to do with that, is ask questions to your mentors during that. Because how many of you know sometimes you can see something one way, but it may not be the right way? Right? Now, how many of you know it's important in life to have a vision in front of you? Right? It's important to have a goal set for you. It's important to have a dream for you. And tonight, I think, if I'm correct, my dad's talking about vision. And I encourage you, when he's up here talking about vision, take notes. Bree said earlier, that's my sister, by the way. She's my favorite sister because she's my only one, so you'll get that later. But how many of you know it's so true? In order to have a noteworthy life, you need to take notes. And in order to have a motivational life, you need to be motivated. And I have a question for you. What is it in your life right now that motivates you now that didn't motivate you back then? Think about that. Motivation changes in the seasons you are in. I remember when I was in school, my motivation was to not mess up. Now, my amazing teacher can tell you I messed up a lot. But the greatest thing that she did for me is she goes, dude, you messed up, but what can we take away from you doing this? And let's make it positive. She kept me motivated. Now, I was probably the most annoying student she probably ever had. And she'll probably be like, no, you weren't. But I was one motivated sucker. That I could do it right. Is that true? I would literally, she'll tell you, I would literally sit there and cry because I was so frustrated at myself that I couldn't do this math problem right. Now you're saying, why are you crying about a math problem? Because I wanted to prove to myself that I wasn't dumb. And you're saying, well, that's a stupid thing to think about. But I was so motivated to overcome my situation that I would do anything to get to where I needed to be. And I'm so grateful for her that she got in my corner and said, I got your back. Let's motivate you let's get this done. Let's get this done. Number 3 is, do you need to move resources in your business? Now you're saying, what does moving resources have to do with motivation? Some of the greatest things you can do is get a perspective on a situation you are in to move people around to suit their strengths. That's huge what I just said there. How many of you know in businesses, sometimes people will do things that's even though it's not their strengths, but they'll do it to help move the cause. That is huge. So I want to ask you a question. I want you to go home and go, okay, what am I doing in my life that I don't need to be doing now at this point? That I can have somebody else help take this off of me to free me up to do what I called to do. That's why I'm so grateful to the servant leaders here at G5. If you all don't know who our team is, we have the greatest team of servant leaders I have ever seen in my life, because they take stuff off of my family to free us up to do what God called us to do, which is love people. Now, here's a big thing. I want you all to catch this. Even though they are doing things, they still doesn't take them away from loving on people themselves. Now, in your group, wherever it is you do, you're saying this person could probably do better over here. That still doesn't mean that person can't go check on that other person and go, hey, do you need anything? Right? It's huge. Having people's backs is everything. The fourth and final point is, what habits do you have in your life that keep you motivated? What habits in your life keep you motivated? Now, over the last 6 or 8 months, I've done a lot of talks about motivation. And I want you to encourage you to go back and listen to them, because I'm not going to go into them tonight. But I encourage you to go back and listen to them. But I want to give you 3 quick things that habits do in your life. 3 quick things. These are 3 habits I wanted to ask you all. Can you all do me? Can I ask a favor of you all? Can you all implement these 3 things into your life in the next month? And next leadership, I want to hear stories about what these things did for you. Can you do that for me? Number 1, the first habit I want you to implement is ask questions. Ask questions. At a very young age, I was the most asking question person you have ever met in your entire life. And it annoyed my mama. I remember one day she went to my dad and she goes, he will not stop asking me questions. What do? I want him to stop asking questions. And I remember my dad telling her, babe, he's a leader. He's going to ask questions. My favorite question when I was 6, 7, 8 years old was that breakfast or lunch? I couldn't remember. How many of you know that's an important question, right? Because I want to make sure I get all 3 meals in a day, bro. I just want you to know. And I'm going to make sure I get a snack in between each one of those too, you know. But how many of you know it was a clarifying question? It may be a funny question, but it was a clarifying question. And here's what I want to encourage you. There's never a stupid question. And now my mom's probably being so mad at me right now because she raised me to never cuss. And I know people think, well, stupid's not a cuss word, but to her it is. And to me it is. But how many of you know the most stupid questions that out there are the questions that were never asked? Questions that are never asked are stupid questions. So ask them away. Ask away. The second one is, these are kind of 3 things in one. I want you to get these in your life. I want you to become a habit with this. I want you to listen, read, and watch. Listen, read, and watch. You're saying, what do those 3 things have to do with each other? My dad told me at a young age, what you put in will eventually come out. So what you listen to, what you read, and what you watch will eventually determine who you are and impact the people around you. Because what you sow will eventually reap, and what you put in will eventually come out. Have you ever watched people that grew up in a toxic household, and they were cussing and everything, and you watch them, and then you watch somebody that came from a good home? Have you ever watched it? The people that were from the toxic home, when they go out, you see how they were raised. You see that come out, right? And how many of you have ever watched somebody and you're like, ooh, I'm glad I don't live in their house? Huh? But I want to encourage you, the greatest thing you can do for people is let them know they are loved and cared for. And that's another habit. Let people know they are loved and cared for. The third final point, and I close, is association. The habit of association is everything. Hold on, sorry. The habit of drinking water is just as important, y'all, just saying. But the habit of association is everything. I was so grateful at a young age. My parents taught me and my sister that the 5 closest people you hang around will become who you are, will determine who you become. I want you to go home tonight and look in your life and go, okay, who do I spend the most time? And here's something I want you to do. As I got older, I realized the people I hung around, I started doing things like they did things. Like if you watch my dad and I stand next to each other, it's kind of freaky. Because him and I noticed, like we'll be in the, for a lot of you to know, our team members, we do circle every Sunday and every Tuesday before church. And we'll be standing there, and he'll be talking or whatever, and I'll look over, and him and I are both in unison. We'll have our hands below, and we'll both be rocking back and forth. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the people I spend the most time with will become who I become. But how many of you know I'm not complaining? I'm grateful I'm like my father. But it just made me aware of the people that I spend the most time with is who I become. So I want you to look in your life and go, okay, who am I spending the most time with, and how do they affect me? And I want to encourage you. If you have friends out there that you know that need help and need love, I want you to make sure you affect them and they don't affect you. That's huge. That's huge. Now, there was people in my sister and I's life that my parents didn't let us spend much time around. But we knew when we were in that situation, whatever they did, we didn't do. We made sure we led our life the way we knew to live it and who we were called to be. So I am so grateful for this person that I'm about to bring up because she's part of the reason why I am who I am today. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. A lot of you will get that later. She is my mom. But I love her more than anything in this world. She's impacted me way more than she realizes she has. And I'm just saying, if y'all try to mess with her, have fun getting off the property. I will slash your tires and kill you on the way out. No kidding, no. But I love you all so much, but I'm so grateful for her because she and my father are so important to me and my sister. And I know this is going to sound so funny, she's going to laugh at me, but Valentine's is next week, and she will always be my mama Valentine. So I love her so much, and she's going to go home later and go, why did you say that? I started crying before I got on stage. But guys, if you could just please help me show her so much love, because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here. So we love her. Could you please help me welcome my mama, Mama G. It's on.
Yes. Please. So awesome. I'm so proud of you. Oh, Junior, I'm impressed you think I'm that tall. I love that. Some of you are going, is she there? Yes, I am. I promise. So proud of you, bub. I want to tell you, I'm so honored to be here. I never take lightly that my incredible husband, the pastor of this church, the leader of this church, would ever even ask me to step on this platform, because I'm not worthy to step into his shoes. I can tell you that right now. And I want you to glean from him, but I am honored that he asked me to be here and to just share my heart a little bit. Get ready. I'm a storyteller, so some of you know that, and you'll never forget my points because I got to link a story to it. So some of you men might get annoyed because you just want the facts. Get over it. I don't care. But anyway, I'm excited. So I am excited for you to hear from my amazing husband tonight, who I love amazingly and am so in love with him and so proud of him. Anyway, okay, we need to get into leadership here. What is this? It's not even Valentine's yet. By the way, if you're going to come on Tuesday Fire right before Valentine's, we're going to talk about some love. And we're going to talk about all our mistakes and how we still love. So you might want to come to that anyway, right, baby? Anyway, I want to talk to you about the pain of comfort. The pain of comfort. Now, that sounds like an oxymoron, because comfort should be wonderful, but comfort's not wonderful. Because this is the bottom line. Comfort will keep you from something and in something that you shouldn't be in. Comfort will keep you from something and in something that you shouldn't be in. When you look up the word comfort, anybody that knows Mama G knows that I'm going to look something up and pray that Google's right. But even if they're not, we're going with it. And this is what Google says. Comfort means a state of physical ease and freedom from constraint. Comfort means the state of physical ease and freedom from constraint. Now, I couldn't stop there. I'm thinking to myself, I want to look up the word constraint, and then I was convicted. The word constraint means state of being restricted and compelled to avoid action. Oh my heavens. Can we preach right here? Let me tell you one more time. Constraint means state of being restricted and compelled to avoid action. When we stay in comfort, we stay in constraint. And when we stay in constraint, we avoid action. We stay right where we are. So, growing up, I always heard this, and you have too, that, oh, they're just in a comfort zone. They're in a comfort zone. Well, I got to thinking about it. I don't like that, because zone to me is kind of vast. Like, it means you got a long pathway. I actually call it a comfort box, because truthfully what comfort is it's something with 4 walls and a ceiling. And it becomes a prison to most of us. Most of us comfort. So we have different things. We have comfort friends. And I want to be very frank here with you. Be very careful of having too many comfort friends. Any of my ladies in here that know that ever come to talk to Mama G, I tell them all the time, I will not be your comfort friend. I will be your kick friend. You can go find a yes man or a yes woman anywhere you want, but you want somebody that's a kick friend. I have a kick friend named PT. Now, because he's a man and I'm a woman, he gently kicks me. But I'm a woman to a woman, I'm not gently kicking you at all. Just ask Kelsey. I'm just kidding. I'm not picking on you. Let me tell you how important it is to make sure you don't have, do you understand? Listen, I've been around the world with PT, and we've been with some serious, incredible, successful leaders who have failed tragically. And you know one of the number one reasons they failed is they surrounded themselves with comfort friends and yes friends. That's what they had. Anybody to agree with them. If all you want is somebody to walk around you and agree with you, you're in trouble. You need someone to say, bub, you need to get it together. I don't agree with this. The other thing we have is comfort food. Now, I'm from the South. Come on. I'm talking fried green tomatoes, fried okra, fried chicken, milk gravy, mashed potatoes, and butter biscuits. I'm telling you. But guess what happens after you eat that comfort food? You are miserable. And you're rubbing the Buddha going, holy camole. I'm a full gospel preacher's wife right here. Right? You know, some of you comfort food's different. You know, we got Mr. Robert here, and he's Mr. Italian. Well, comfort food to him is pasta upon pasta upon pasta upon pasta. How come you love pasta? But as soon as you eat it, it ain't comfort no more. You're going, what was I thinking? Especially if it has gluten in it, right? So comfort food is not really comforting, but we think it is, right? So also we have comfort phrases that say, just make yourself comfortable. Relax, get comfortable. No, I'm going to tell you, don't relax. Don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. Get rid of that blanket. Somebody needs to kick your hiney, and you need to get up and not be comfortable. Because comfortable is your enemy right now. This quote is crazy. Comfort is a powerful sedative. Comfort is a powerful sedative. And I want to get you that. I'm just sorry, but you got to hear this right now. God does not comfort us to make us comfortable. He comforts us to make us comforters. Ooh. God does not comfort us to make us comfortable. He comforts us to make us comforters. And you can't comfort somebody else if all you can do is sit in your comfort on your couch with your beautiful blanket. Now, you come to our house, and there's probably 10 blankets in our family room. Our family, my daughter, oh dear Lord, our daughter, she loves her blanket. And everybody that comes over, they grab a blanket and they get all comfy, which is awesome. But I would encourage you to be careful of comfort. Anything that disturbs your comfort factor is good for you. Anything that disturbs your comfort factor is good for you. Now, this is the deal. I'm in a room right now with so many incredible leaders. Successful, has successful business, has successful team, has all this amazing thing. And you're probably saying to me, this is all great. I can't wait for PT to get up because I don't have a comfort box. Have you seen what I've done? Have you seen what I've accomplished? And you're up here talking about comfort? I am. Because actually, that's your comfort box, staying in the success you've already had. If you think that's where you need to stay, we got a problem. You are successful. But if you get comfortable in it, and you're never going to move to the next place. You have to get out. Comfort is the enemy of your achievement. Comfort is the enemy of your achievement. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. See, I'm married to the poster child of this. My husband has been around the world, has been in front of incredible leaders, has done so much and poured his life into people day after day after day after day. And I have watched him stand in the middle of some major uncomfortable situations and love people and keep moving, keep believing in them. It's insane what he can do because he's realizing that he can't stay in the moment of comfort. It's time for him to move on. And sometimes people will get brought into your life to get rid of your comfort, and you don't want it. You know, PT says this all the time. Be careful when you pray for God to give you patience. Oh, Lord, help you. Because he's going to bring you somebody that's going to drive you insane. And then he said, you prayed for patience, now have some. Right? Be careful when you say, God, help me love other people. Well, you think he's going to bring some loving person to you. Welcome to church. No. He's going to bring somebody that he's asking you to love that you would like to actually do something very different to. Pray some hemorrhoids on that person and do something else. And God's saying, love them. It's called get out of your comfort. You can choose courage or you can choose comfort, but you can't choose both. Wow. You can choose courage and you can choose comfort, but you can't choose both. They don't coexist. Courage takes you stepping out of where you are. A comfort box has walls, has limits, and has a ceiling. To the degree we're not living our dreams, our comfort box has more control over us than we do ourselves. Comfort boxes are plush-lined coffins. When you stay in your plush-lined coffin, you die. So just a couple observations. What does comfort do? Number one, it keeps you in the familiar. Comfort keeps you in the familiar. And be very careful of the familiar. I worked at Muscular Dystrophy. I actually was working there when I met PT. And I remember, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to toot my own horn. I was good. I was good at what I did, which is funny because for someone to say to me, I want you to come sell something, I'm like, I'm not selling anything. But boy, did I ever sell every time I went. I would go to these big wig offices with these massive CEOs, men and women, and I would walk in and I'm supposed to talk to them about doing a fundraiser for muscular dystrophy. And you walk in these huge offices and you're so intimidated, I'm thinking, why did this person ever want to do a fundraiser for this? Why would they want to hang shamrocks? If you've ever been anywhere and seen a shamrock hanging in a gas station, that's what muscular dystrophy did. Or talk them into having a bowl-a-thon with their employees and we go bowl. Back then, all the bowling alleys were smoky. Oh, God, help us. I would leave that place and just reek everywhere. And if you smoke, I'm sorry, I'm not cutting you down. I'm just telling you I didn't like it. But we would go to these bowling alleys, and they would do these bowl-a-thons, and I would set them up. But let me tell you, I got good. I'd walk in, and I would learn about these CEOs. I'd look at their wall and go, okay, this dude likes fishing. I don't care anything about fishing, but all of a sudden I liked fishing. And I'd start talking. I'd get them, I'd have them right there ready to do anything for muscular dystrophy. And I walked in one day and my boss said, you're so good at what you do. And I was like, thank you. I was feeling so good. And she said, so we've decided to change your region and your territory. I said, whoa, no. No, that's not why I'm good at what I do. No. I thought it was proven to you that I can do. You did prove to me. But now we want you to step out and do more. Well, I didn't say I wanted to do more. You ever think when you get up and go into work in the morning, you're so glad you can do it with your eyes closed? You're like, it's a no-brainer? Well, it was a no-brainer for me, and I didn't want anybody messing with my no-brainer. But guess what they were doing? They were saying the familiar is keeping you from knowing what's your next step. You have no idea what you're made of. You could do more than this. You've already proven what you can do. Why would we not stretch you to even do more? But I liked the familiar. Be very careful of what familiar has become in your life, because it will become a foundation that you cannot get away from. You need to step out of it. You got to get out of it. The next thing, wait, I want to tell this story. Sorry. This talks about comfort. A spy was captured and sentenced to death by a general in the Persian army. Before carrying out the sentence, the general gave the spy a strange choice. He told him he could have his choice of a firing squad or a big black door. After much deliberation, the spy chose the firing squad, and within a few minutes, he was dead. The general turned to his aide and said, "They always prefer the known way to the unknown." The aide then asked the general, "What's behind the black door?" "Freedom," replied the general. "Behind the black door is a passageway that leads outside, but only a few have been brave enough to see what's behind it. Fear is the big black door that keeps us trapped inside our comfort boxes. In order to be free from what imprisons us, we must be brave enough to open the door." What are we hiding behind? What are we not willing to change? I want you to write this down. The enemy wants us to run to comfort so that we miss the connection that God has tied to our next mission. The enemy wants us to run to comfort so that we miss the connection that God has tied to our next mission. I remember the day that PT came to me and asked me if I would be willing to speak. A lot of you know this story. And I told him, "Baby, I love you. I told you when I married you, I will not be speaking in front of anybody. That is what you do." And anyway, long story short, he ended up talking me into it by changing his words and his verbiage. And he asked me if I would share. And for some reason, share sounded better than talk. And so I shared. And that's what I shared. And that's what I did. But this is the deal. I remember when I got off stage and I looked at him and said, "Okay, I'm good. I'm done. I spoke. We're out of here." And in my mind, that was it. I didn't need to go anymore. I didn't need to go any further. And he looked at me like, "Do you really think I'm going to let you get away with that? Really and truly?" See, your "I'm doing okay now" is affecting your next. Your "I'm doing okay now" is affecting your next. As soon as you feel like you're doing good right where you are, like I did, I spoke one time, "I'm good." And now I couldn't even tell you how many times I've spoken all over the world. It's the crazy. And every time I stand at those stairs, just so you know, and I shake and I'm nervous and I'm like, "Lord, you better show up," and he will tell you every time we go out to speak, this is what I say to him: "Hey, babe, they're running a little late. Maybe you should just talk." And he always goes, "Nice try." I try it every time. So if you think this is easy for me, you think my hands aren't shaking, I'm trying to act like they're not, this isn't. But guess what I do? I go and I step up and I go, I don't want what I did yesterday to keep me from doing what I should be doing today. Because I'm so comfortable because I accomplished something. I'm proud of you. Kudos, pat on the back. Don't stay in your kudos section. Make sure you're pushing on to the next thing, because it's going to keep you from where you need to go, because there's an opportunity there. Listen to this. When a crab grows, it breaks out of its hard shell and begins the process of forming a new one. Its lifespan is marked by passing through successive shells. The crab grows when it is between shells. It will continue to grow as long as it dares to break out of the shell. When it stops breaking through the shell, the crab ceases to grow and eventually dies. The last shell becomes the crab's coffin. Huh. I know. I don't know about you. I don't know if I want to be a crab or not. That's wicked. But truthfully, if you think about it, most of us don't want to break out, and we don't look at it that way. The third thing, really quick, is your comfort, it will suppress your appetite. Your comfort box will suppress your appetite. And your appetite is what causes you to change. And if your appetite is suppressed, you will cease to change. Growth and comfort do not coexist. Growth and comfort do not coexist. If you and I are going to change, if you and I are going to move forward, we've got to be willing to have the appetite to do it. We've got to have the desire to do it. I remember, and I've only got 2 more points and I'm done, and I'm bringing up PT. I remember when Bree came to us and said, there's this group called Family Music, and they write songs, and they sing together, and I met this one guy on Zoom, because it was during COVID, and they asked me if I would come to this camp, and she was like, I really feel like I want to go, and so we're like, okay. We're sending our daughter off. We have no idea these people. We don't know anything, and this is usually not something we are cool with, but we trust her heart. And so she said, okay, I'm going. Well, Bree's traveled with us her whole life. She started at 5 weeks old. She's been living on an airplane. At 3 years old, she was platinum on Delta. They were sending credit card applications to our house for a 3-year-old because they couldn't imagine a 3-year-old having that anyway. So I remember the day she flew to Denver. Now she's going, and she doesn't know anyone at this place. She's never met any of them. And she flies into Denver, and she gets in there at like 11 o'clock at night, and she texts Tim and I, and she goes, I'm freaking out. I cannot figure out how to get out of this rental car place. And Denver is crazy. And the rental car center at nighttime is a nightmare. And she could not, and she's flown her whole life. She's been to rental, she just could not figure out how to get out of it. It's 11 o'clock at night. She's freaking out. She finally gets out of it. And then she puts in the address and realizes that the address is not in Denver. It's in Colorado Springs. And she has almost 2 hours in the dark by herself to drive there. And she's just in this car going, what have I done? She walks up to this house. She knows nobody in this home. She knocks on the door. I admire her. No, I would have never done that, ever. And she walks in. This is the bottom line for all of it. You talk about breaking a shell. We watched this young girl come home, and the growth and the change in her, because none of it was comfortable, none of it. But it did something in her that him and I could have never put in her. Going out of our covering, going out of people she didn't know, going out in the dark for 2 hours, driving on a highway, some of you have been there, it changed her because it broke something, and she realized that she couldn't stay comfortable anymore. And I watch her now. She will throw herself into stuff all the time. And I'm like, you are my hero. But you know what? It kind of gets exciting when you see how much you grow. It kind of gets addicting because you're kind of like, this is pretty cool. I'm going to bring it on, God. I want some more. Now, be careful when you say that. Anyway, because he'll bring it on all right. So real quick, remember this, that some of the best things that happened to you were out of your comfort zone. Some of the best things that happened to you were out of your comfort zone. In fact, probably most of the things that have happened to you that were good were out of your comfort zone. If I can pick on one of our servant leaders really quick, Josh, who is an incredible servant leader here. I remember when he came here, and he really had an amazing job. And Josh is in the food industry. I always go to him and go, hey, now, are these green beans what they say they are? Because I want to know. And he's always like, I promise you they are. So he knows his food. And I remember the day when he actually lost his job. And he came to PT, and PT said to him, this is the best thing that has ever happened to you. And he's thinking, you're my pastor and you're crazy. I don't know who you are. And we watched him get a job at Champions Gate Reunion Pizza Hut delivering pizzas. Sometimes he would barely make it into church because he had a pizza to deliver. But Josh knew that this was only a time and only a season, and something was coming great out of it, and he was being developed, and he was uncomfortable. Can you imagine having an amazing business and then walking up to somebody's door and say, Pizza Hut, your pizza's here, right? But he did it. And now PT and I look to see where he is and what God's doing in his life and his businesses after business, after business, after company, after everything. He can't even keep up with it. But he was willing to break out, be uncomfortable, and ring your doorbell and deliver you a pizza. What are you willing to do to get out of where you're comfortable and let God do something that you can't take an ounce of credit for? Because I know Josh would never take an ounce of credit for what God's doing. You get to break out. One more thing. Small activities. Do small activities to challenge yourself to get out of the fear and face it. Do small activities to challenge yourself to get out and face the fear. The only way you're going to get out of it is to do something different. It's the only way you're going to get out of your comfort zone. And I want to end in this quote. Nobody ever died of discomfort, yet living in the name of comfort has killed more ideas, more opportunities, more actions, and more growth than everything else combined. Comfort kills. That's why you don't have a comfortable seat at G5 right now. People don't like our chairs, and there's a reason for that. Don't get comfortable where you are, because you're going somewhere. We have a couple comfy seats. Mr. Bob gets one there, yeah, Miss Nancy and Diva, not yes. And I used to have one. They took my comfort seat. I don't know what they're trying to tell me, but I don't have it there anymore for some reason. There's a reason we don't want you comfortable. God's got something for you, and it ain't where you feel comfy and good. It's where you're stretched, where you're scared to death, where you're questioning what he's doing. See, I'm getting ready to bring up the man that taught me all of this, because he's the one that says, babe, this is where we're going. Okay, how are we doing it? He says, I have no idea, but let me tell you, we're doing it. I love this man. He's my hero. He's an example to all of you, and I know that. He's my favorite pastor. He's my favorite man. And I say, buckle your seatbelt, because he's coming up. I love you.
So proud of you. Come on, you can do better than that for Mama G. Yeah. Let her know how much you appreciate her. Oh my goodness. It's so great to see you tonight. And I look around and I watch your eyes dance, and I know you've got vision. I love being with people that want to make a difference. I love being with people that want to outgrow their yesterdays. I love being with people that say, yeah, I haven't been perfect, but you know what? I'm not what I used to be, and I'm headed for something that the world's going to be proud of and my family's going to be proud of. And I'm just so excited that you're here. Welcome to G5. Blake Goad, great job, man. Motivation. Isn't that great? Procrastination is the assassination of motivation. Motivation is what gets you started. Habits are what keeps you going. We'll talk about that in a minute. Mama G, you just had to step all over my feet tonight. I want you to be good, just not that good. I'm proud of her. She lives this. Leadership is amazing. Without a shadow of a doubt, the hardest person I've ever led in my life is me. Without a shadow of a doubt, the person that has given me the most trouble in my leadership has been me. I have a propensity inside of me. I don't really enjoy climbing that much. Now, my wife would disagree, but there's something about coasting. And the challenge that Zig Ziglar taught me early in my life when I was 21 was, son, everything you want in life, you're going to have to climb for it. If you want a great life, if you want a great marriage, if you want a great family, if you want a great business, you're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to be willing to learn. You see, I want you to write this down if you're taking notes. It's what you know that you're so certain. I want you to write this down if you're taking notes. It's what you know that you're so certain of that is keeping you from knowing what you need to know. Leadership is really incredible. And so it's so easy for me to teach leadership. I had a team in today. My buddy Robert Belcour's in here with his guys, and I just had a blast today. And they pulled stuff out of me for 4 hours. I emptied myself, and it was so powerful. And here's a guy that just a few short years ago, I looked in his eyes, maybe 3 years ago, and he wasn't doing $1 million a year yet, and he didn't believe he could. Don't mean to embarrass you. I said, you're going to do $1 million. I said, besides that, you're going to do 10 million. And we missed it. He didn't do 10 million, he did 50. When you get the right principles with the right heart, with the right vision, where there's something supernatural can touch it and bless it and expand it, it changes everything. And he's well on his way to 100 million, and I believe we're going to do $1 billion. You say, Tim, are you all concerned about that money? No. What I'm concerned about is impact and making a difference. Are you ready for the blessings that are coming into your life? Nobody in this room, in your leadership, would ever hand the keys to a Ferrari, a brand new 2024 Ferrari, to a 3-year-old. It's not because you don't love them. It's because you're smart enough to realize that they're not ready to handle the responsibility of the gift that you're giving them. Some of you right now are very uncomfortable, and it's because you're being built. And what happens is most people get angry and bitter, and they start doing what they want to do instead of what they should do. Leadership is about doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason in the right way. Leadership is about doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason in the right way. Leadership is about doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason in the right way without anybody telling you you have to do it. The hardest person I ever lead is me. So tonight I want to talk to you about self-leadership. The second hardest leadership in my life, and I'm not here to talk about it tonight, I will at some point, is leading your family. By the way, if you lead yourself well and you lead your family well, now you get to go into the world and lead and be effective. And the fourth level of leadership is when I not only lead people around me, but I begin to lead leaders. At G5, we are fully committed to building leaders. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Most of the world would give anything to have this kind of teaching being brought to their lives. And I promise you, if you think it's inexpensive, the gift that has been given to you tonight is really expensive. For an hour of my time, I'm a pastor, but I coach leaders all over the world. I start at $12,500 an hour. What do you do with that money? I build buildings right here like this. I don't want a bigger house. If somebody wants to give me a better car, you can do that. But I want to tell you, I want to go out and bless other people. And in blessing other people, I want to bless other people. You're blessed to be a blessing. And if you're not blessing other people, you better get in the game. Because stingy never built anything great. So I'm mighty proud. I'm proud of my son. Matter of fact, I'm going to the lobby really hard that my daughter will speak next month if you come back. So somebody tell me, when's the first Wednesday of March? Because that's when we're coming back. The 6th. And so, Bree, I'm going to be after you like bad breath. to get you up here, so I love it. Men and women, I think it's wonderful to grow. I think it's wonderful to achieve. But I think the mark of my leadership will not be what I've done in 180 countries around the world and building multiple $100 million companies and billion-dollar companies and lots of mega churches before we started here. My leadership will boil down to how well I led me and how well it was transferred to my wife and my children. I love you. I love you. I care about you. But I think you need to know something about PT. I don't love you as much as I love my children and as I love my wife. I just want to tell you, women in the room, and if this is too deep and too heavy, I don't apologize. But when your men are with me, we're not going to be out trying to get other women. We're going to be trying to figure out how I can be better at what I've been called to do. Life is too short to waste one moment chasing the wrong vision in your life. Vision is what separates you from everybody else in the room. Your vision of tomorrow, your picture of tomorrow is what separates you from everybody else. And I'm telling you right now, get ready, they're coming. You need to keep inviting. I'm going to encourage you to set a goal to bring 10 people with you. My buddy Robert Belcour is in here with Cornerstone and his team. Get ready. We're going to change the world together. My buddy Paul Roberts is over here. They're going to change the world. This thing is bigger than the footprint at G5. This is a footprint that's going to touch the ends of the earth. So if you're ready, I'm going to invite you to come and get in the fight. But you got to grow inside before you can ever grow anything outside. Or you will shrink what is given to you down to your self-esteem. Leadership. There are 4 things that you've got to constantly work in your life, and then I'll go through these things real quick, okay? You've got to continually work on your leadership skills. Leadership skills. Leadership skills. Leading you, leading at home, leading people around you that have been given to you. Leadership is not about getting ahead of other people. It's helping people get ahead of anything they thought they could ever imagine to be. And then the 4th thing is you get to lead leaders. You get to shepherd shepherds. It's powerful. The 4th thing is you get to lead leaders. You get to shepherd shepherds. It's powerful. There's something about bringing people together that have influence, that then they influence other people. My training ground was 80 coliseums a year, over 1 million people. People are my thing. What makes them do what they do, why they don't do what they should do, just fascinates me. Anybody besides me in the room knew the right thing to do and didn't do it? Come on, can you talk to me for a second? Don't get quiet. Anybody besides me got really smart friends that do really dumb things? By the way, I'm a hillbilly, so I can tell you this. Before hillbillies get hurt really bad, they always say this: "Hey, buddy, watch this." And I was in Salt Lake, and they reminded me, "No, it's hold my beer and watch this." And so they're teaching me what I need to know. You've got a dream tonight. You've got a vision tonight. Last night I spoke on there. Every dream has a nightmare attached to it. There's a fight. There's a battle. There's a moment where it seems like everything goes silent, including God, and the enemy gets louder. Every vision has an enemy to it. If Robert Belcour thinks that $1 billion is not going to have some enemies in it, he has been misinformed. And most of the enemies, listen to me right now, are us. If I kick the rear end of the person that caused me most of my problems, I wouldn't be able to sit down for months. And you are the same place. So we got to work on our leadership. We got to work on our attitude. Can I tell you, I wrote a book. You ought to get it. It's called Boom. And it's the science of enthusiasm. It's amazing what enthusiasm will do for your life. It will change the decimal point in your paycheck for the positive. Anybody against that? Just putting a smile on your face and being somebody that says, hey, it's going to be okay, instead of, oh, I'm just so tired. Nobody cares. They're glad you're tired because they're tired too. And I will never forget, I was in Russia with an 85-year-old man that said this to me, the world is run by exhausted men and women. Where did we ever buy into that life was ever supposed to be easy? Parents, I love you. If you're teaching that to your children, it's an injustice. Life's not fair, and it's harder than you can ever imagine. But if you know you can overcome, what can we do? What kind of schools can we build? Can we give a 5-year-old a 30-year jump? You better believe we can. What is your vision? What is your dream? Can we teach them that attitude matters? Can we teach them that rebellion and that the lack of honor, order, and authority will destroy their lives? Do you know how many people have opportunity to be a blessing to other people, but they got to act like they know everything instead of becoming the student? Humility is a huge part. My daughter just looked at me and she says, Daddy, when you Google leadership, it comes up with innovation. It comes up with all these words. It never says anything about character and heart and determination. Leadership is an inside job. That's why over the next year, I invite you to come. I invite you to bring other people. I promise we won't embarrass you too bad. I just want to let you know. Yeah, you'll get that. I just want you to know that you're going to build and work on your leadership and your attitude, your relationships. You can't say leadership without relationships. Your ability to get along with other people is more important than you can ever imagine. I get called by companies constantly and go, we got this one guy, he's really gifted. We got this one gal, they're really gifted. They're high performers, but they just can't get along with anybody. What do I do? I said, what do you want to do? Don't ever answer a question that they need to answer, because they'll blame you for the solution. Somebody better write that down. You're going to need that this week in your business, okay? I'm just telling you right now. They'll take credit for all the stuff you teach them. You can't believe what people regurgitate back to me that I said, that they forgot I said it. And I don't care. As I don't care who gets the credit, as long as we're moving in the direction of making a difference in this world and changing lives. The last one is you got to get equipping skills. You got to get better at communication. So I want you to write this down. You ready? Fast, and then I'll get to what I want to talk to you about. The speed of the leader is the speed of the group. The pace that you want to go at. Now, some of you right now, you need to go faster, and some of you need to slow down to speed up. The hunger of the leader will be the hunger of the people. This is the truth, even in a home. Dad, if you're not hungry, there's a really great shot that if your kids don't ever see you read, they're not going to be a reader. My dad was a profuse studier of the Word of God. He gave me that hunger. He studied homiletics. I was reading stuff at 18 that most 40-year-old men never had the opportunity to, because my dad had a 7th grade education, but he had hunger. And it was another man that walked into my life that taught me to read books like Atomic Habits, The Power of Habits. Do you know habits? Can I just share this with you real quick? One habit, if you will put it into your home, will change every other habit you have in your home. Do you know what that is? Having dinner together. But we don't do it anymore. I got a TV dinner over here. They go to this room and that room and that room. And they all have their little entertainment boxes that have proven to shrink your ability to think. Get away from these little computers. You'll watch creativity go through your brain. The heart of the leader will be the heart of the group, the passion of the leader, the commitment of the leader, and the conviction of the leader. When's the last time anybody ever said, you have great conviction? 10 keys to self-leadership. You ready? If you're ready, say go. Look at your neighbor and say, you take these notes, you need it. I want to let you know that right now. You tell them right now, you take these notes, you need them. Look at your other neighbor and say, take these notes, I need you to take them so I can read them later. Can you do that right now? Somebody lead in here. You know what I'm talking about? Number one is healthy habits. Oh yeah, I went there. Your whole life is run off of habits. Thinking habits, sleeping habits, eating habits, communication habits. When you're leading yourself well, you get a rhythm of self-care. There's an awareness that says, this is what I need, and you start doing it. Can I ask you a question? My name's PT. Don't make this not make you want to come back. But can I ask you a question? This is a question that a guy would be paying me a lot of money that I would ask him. How long you going to put up with dysfunction in your life? I'm going to tell you this with 100% accuracy. Anytime you remove dysfunction out of your life, growth is automatic. But you got to make room for the excuses for dysfunction. You got to get the fundamentals that some of us take for granted in your life. Now, I've been known to eat a Big Mac. Can I get an amen? I've been known to eat a Butterfinger. I've been known to eat some Krispy Kremes when that hot light is on. Can I get a witness? And I'm just telling you, team, I need to confess this. The Bible says confession is good for the soul. But one day I want to pull up to Krispy Kreme and go lay on that belt and just let that cream just go all over me and walk out of there going, yeah. And every now and then just lick myself. You know what I'm talking about? Don't leave me alone. I'm about to preach. Let's do that right there. I'm about to lead worship. I'm about to do this. I'm about to teach a lesson on leadership. I'm telling you right now, anybody besides me got a dream. Martin Luther King had a dream. I got a dream. Now, it's not as lofty as his was, but I think it's just as satisfying, if you know what I'm talking about. Hey, you don't need somebody to call you up and tell you, eat better. I've got a conscience. Its name is Gay Goad. She's been known to slap my hand in a restaurant. That's just, my therapist told me to talk about it, so I'm doing it. I'm like reaching for that, and she's like, don't do that. You know right now you're not eating carbs. I said, no, you made the decision for me not to eat carbs. I never made that decision. You're just so judgmental. You know what I'm talking about? Just judgmental. I got money to eat and I'm eating grass. Like a cow over there eating my cut. I'm like, yeah, that's gross, ain't it? But you'll never forget it. Eat better. That's what I'm telling you right now. Some of y'all need to get some sleep. You know what I'm talking about? You're binge watching Netflix till 4 o'clock in the morning and you got a 6 o'clock meeting and you wonder why you ain't thinking straight. How many of you know that self-leadership has a lot to do with discipline? You got to take time to keep your eye on the big picture. If you get so caught up in the minutia of the garbage, if I sit down with you right now, could you answer a question for me? What do you want? What do you want? I just want to encourage you to build the habits that will bring to your life what you want. And I want your wants to be something you really want after you get it. Now, this is not in your house, it's in my house. Often my wife will order her food, and after she gets it, she'll look at my food and go, "Can I have some of yours?" She goes, "I didn't really want this." Praise God from whom all blessings flow. See, if you don't know what you want, you're continually going to be a nervous wreck because you're never satisfied with what you have. My wife taught me to appreciate food. She would taste ketchup and she goes, "That's old." I'd be like, "Tastes great to me." She goes, "That's old." She has ruined my ability to eat food. It's all got to be fresh. Are the French fries hot? Oh, here's the line. It's not worth wasting the calories. Can I get an amen? Anyhow, I don't know why I'm doing that. The second thing is you got to pay attention to your inner life. If you're going to lead yourself well, you not only got to watch your habits, you got to break some habits, you got to build some new habits, but you got to pay attention to what's going on inside of you. Right now, we're so consumed with daily obligations, leaders, and distractions that we lose ourselves in them. Do you know there are people that literally get up every day? You can't imagine this. You cannot imagine what I'm about to tell you right now. There are people that get up every day and all day long, the only thing they think about is who they're mad at. How they're angry and how they're bitty and how the world has not been good to them. Every day. And I'm just telling you right now, I love you. I'm a pastor, so I can talk like this. I'm a pastor, so I can talk like this. That is the enemy stealing the space in your mind that you were called to be innovative and creative and dream new dreams, and yet he's got you offended. Pay attention. John W. Gardner once wrote, "By midlife, most of us are accomplished fugitives from ourselves. We numb ourselves with just constant smartphones, iPads, computers, binge watching. And here's what you don't know that's happening to you. I love you. I'm not being judgmental. You came tonight for free. Most people pay for this. But you're rewiring your brain and sabotaging your ability to engage in deep reflection and work. You got to be careful. Knowing ourselves means discovering, having awareness. Watch this. What is my purpose? Will you promise me over the next 30 days, you will not only discover your purpose, but you will find your purpose and you will affirm your purpose? And I just want to tell you, when you're writing, if you're taking notes, and I hope you are, you will never know purpose without serving. Serving is the secret. And yet when things go bad in our lives, it's the first thing we stop doing. The thing that brings healing. Our reason for being. It's what infuses our life with meaning and significance, including a significance and sense of why we do what we do and why we want to lead. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to lead? Why do you want to lead? Why do you want to lead? Why do you even want the position of leadership? I'm finding people want the influence of leadership. They don't want the responsibility of leadership. It absolutely on your inner side of you. What are your values? What we value most in life and the behaviors that manifest those things in our lives. What's important to you? If everything's important, nothing's important. What are your strengths? What are you really good at? Some of you right now are working jobs that you should be doing something else because frankly, you're just not good at it. No, I love you. Have you heard somebody sing that they think they can sing and you're going, oh God, would you please quit? Some singers, when they sing, they're so good, they bring tears to your eyes. Other people, when they sing, they just bring tears to your ears. You're like, oh my God, please. I was raised in church where all the music and everybody was, bless God, I'm not that good at it, but I just love Jesus. I don't doubt you love Jesus, but son, you can't sing, so will you please shut up? Why don't you get a friend that will tell you the truth? You're no good at it. Oh, I love to bake. Have you tasted it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, I just want to lead people. Dude, you can't even smile. What do you want to lead people for? Yeah, but I feel left out. Well, I'd be left out too if I never smiled at anybody. Just smile. Give me the next 7 days of your life, and wherever you go, smile, an everlasting smile. That's telling you how old I am. You Google that song. That's an old song. Smile. Smile. Why do you want to smile? Because it makes people feel accepted and loved. And it notifies your face and it will change everything. What is your passion? I'm begging you right now, get lost in your passion. Do you know we've got leaders today teaching people don't follow your passion? Now listen to that. Vision is good. And often it takes time to discover. I just want to encourage you. All you have to do is pay attention. Lessons always arrive when you're ready. The Chinese proverb says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. The third thing I beg you, if you're going to self-leadership, is have authentic integrity. When we act with integrity, we're not only honest and truthful and trustworthy, we're also whole. In today's world, it's really easy, please hear me right now, I love you, to live a divided life. What that means is I've got compartments. I got a work box, I got a wife box, and they just don't meet. I want you to write it down. Who you are is more important than what you do. Because what you do is determined by who you are. Mahatma Gandhi said this, one man cannot do right in one department of his life while he is occupied in doing wrong in another part. I'm not saying you got to be perfect. I'm not preaching at you tonight. I'm just saying if you want to lead and lead yourself well, instead of dividing yourself up into a bunch of compartments, let's be the same person wherever we are. Do you know why that's important? Because I don't care what you do today. I don't care what kind of work you're doing. Every one of us in this room are in the trust business. People have got one question from you. Can I trust you? Can I trust you? Oh, by the way, punch pause for a second. If you think trust doesn't matter, then just remember right now the pain in your life from people that broke their trust is critical. Wholeness does not mean perfection. It means embracing brokenness and dealing with it. But most people that are broken, can I tell you something? They don't even know they're broken. You need to write this down if you're a leader. Dysfunctional people do not feel functional or comfortable in functional environments. And functional people do not feel comfortable in dysfunctional environments. I just want to encourage you today in this area of your life. is it's really easy to stay away from environments that deal with the areas of our lives that we need to change. Here's what I found out about leaders, great leaders. They're running to the people that can help them deal with the dysfunctional parts of them that can be broken. It's why you as a leader can say to somebody, hey, I think this will help you. And they will go, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you give the same advice to someone else, and they get defensive and angry at you and go, I don't agree with it. Do you know how many people walk away from me when they've asked me for advice and they return back to the same knowing that they always had, and they think they're right, but their lives never change? By the way, for you leaders in the room, when you convince somebody against their will, when they walk away, they're still of the same opinion. Number 4 is brutal honesty. Our brains are wondrous creations with incredible capacities for sensing and thinking and remembering and learning and calculating and pattern spotting and imaging and creating and associating and dreaming. Do you understand how powerful your brain is? Do you understand how much of this stuff you're processing at the same time? While subconsciously, your same brain, while it's doing all of that, causes your internal body functions to work. Good night. Our brains are prone to subconscious shortcuts and biases, and we're exceptionally good at rationalizing our behavior. Whether you're good or bad, in short, we are masterful at deceiving ourselves and explaining hard truths. When Gay and I were dating, I had a big world around me. My buddy Dave is in the back. He was part of that world. Keith was part of that world. And I had 2 women in my life. One was my mother, and the second was this beautiful little pack of dynamite over here. And my mother would look at me sometimes, and she'd go, I wasn't in the front row last night. Now, I love you. I'm supporting you, but I want to tell you something. This is going to be a problem for you. And I'm so grateful in the greatest amount of love. Now, hear me. The greatest amount of love, the greatest amount of respect, the greatest amount of honor. I'm so grateful that my little wife would look at me and she goes, I just want you to be aware here. Listen to me. I love you. My name's PT. Every one of us have blind spots. And if you don't have somebody that loves you enough to say, this is going to take you out. And believe it or not, as discerning and as prophetic as I am, I can be pretty naive. And I'm grateful for people around me that have my back. One is too small of number to do anything significant long term. You can make a difference in the short term, but the long term, you're going to need a team. So I want you to know that every one of us in this room, we're needy for recognition. Babies cry for it, and grown men die for it. Approval. We're desperate to impress. That's why we lose ourselves in work. And I just want to encourage you, be brutally honest. Men tend to stay in boxes, ladies, that they feel like they can win in. And if they don't feel like they can win in the family box, I'm not making excuses for them, they'll run to the work box. And they'll hide there. And I just want to tell you, that's why I will tell you the hardest leadership in my life, other than leading me, has been leading my family. And I will tell you with great pain in my voice, I built organizations. I was the highest level on American and Delta at the same time. And I would come home, and my son, when I would come to the door, would run. And I asked my wife, why is he running? She said, because he does not know you. Wow. That's when I decided that I would never sacrifice my children on the altar of work. I'm not going to win the world and lose those closest to me. Now, I know, please, you got to leave here and put that in balance because I work. I'm preaching to me now. I work. I love to work. I told him on the men's call the other night, I never had to learn how to work. I did have to learn how to play. To get on the floor with my children and go, you have no idea how uncomfortable it was. Because every time I would play, I would feel like my life was falling apart. Remember I said be aware and be brutally honest. You have got to look in self-leadership and be willing to have the tough conversations. Number 5 is inspiration. Inspiration. I just want to encourage you to look in your life and find out what are you passionate about, what lights you up. I love to have conversations with you outside, and all of you are telling me about what inspires you and what you're excited about and what you're dreaming for. And yeah, I'm a sucker. I buy in real quick. Because leadership is about going somewhere. Leadership is about getting something done. Leadership is about making a difference. Leadership is being positive in such a negative world. Yeah, I buy in quick. And I would encourage you to absolutely get to the place in your life where you're inspired. If the fire has gone out, let's get it relit. Let's get it relit. Number 6, I need to go quickly, is courage. My wife talked about it some. It takes courage to leave a comfortable place. I just will tell you that courage is not the absence of fear. And you may have thought it was crude when I told Josh, I promise, I said it in love like a father would talk to his son, by the way. It wasn't, yeah. It was, I'm telling you, I know this hurts, but this is the best thing that ever happened to you. God is moving you to a whole new place. If you're in that transition right now, God help you. But let us walk with you. Because I want to see you when you get your victory. And I will tell you, you're either walking out of something, walking into something, or about to walk into something. Because that's the nature of life and leadership. I just encourage you to have courage. I just want you to know courage doesn't come without fear. When I was about 9 years old, I went to a public swimming pool and they had this great big high dive. You all ever go off a big high dive? And all my buddies talked me into going. Well, they didn't go. They wouldn't go, so I said, I'm going. And so I climbed up the ladder, and how many of you know it looked way higher from the board than it did on the ground? And I walked out to the end of it, and I wish my friends were encouraging like yours were. Oh, we're just so proud of you. You're making the way. No, they started attacking me. And then they started attacking my mother. And then they went after my grandmother. Your grandmother wears army boots. And I'm like, that ain't helpful. When I jumped off of that high dive, how many of you know the fear never left me? I jumped with the fear in me. See, some of you are waiting for the fear to leave. And I will tell you, it's never going to leave, but your action will destroy the fear. And you will now be a hero to other people because you, through your leadership, broke out. Where is it right now that you need to be courageous? By the way, I got a question for you, and I want you to answer it. What's the most courageous thing you've ever done? I asked a man one night, what's the most courageous thing you've ever done? And this is a mixed crowd. I want to be careful, but he said, I got married. And my wife and I were not together physically for 2 years. And I stayed true to her. To another guy, he fought a fighter plane. He said, you have no idea how scared I was. what is the most courageous thing you've ever done? What is the most courageous thing you need to do right now? What is the most courageous thing you need to do right now? Courage. Fear the fear and do it anyway. I can just tell you that courage is the prerequisite for everything that is necessary and valuable in your life. Get ready. Some of you are going to launch new companies. Some of you are going to switch industries. Some of you are going to walk new ways. I had a friend of mine come to me the other day, and he goes, I'm getting ready to invest all this money in real estate. And he said, what do you think? I said, well, is it educated risk? Risk is risk, but educated risk is different. And I said, just tell me if you have the capacity emotionally to deal with it. You got to ask yourself these questions. I can tell you, talent that stays backstage is not worth anything. Dreams that stay inside of you but never come forth are not worth anything. A precious relationship that is not guarded is unprotected. It's not enough to have convictions. You've got to act even when it's hard. Number 7, you got to be all in. You got to be all in. Where is it right now that you're not all in? My buddy Danny is right here. He and his wife got an incredible story, and I love it so much. But I will never forget the day he looked at me and said, I'm all in. Wow. Do you know, can I tell you something? Most people live their whole lives and never fully commit themselves to anything. Your commitments in your life are everything. And so I just want to ask you, are you wholehearted or are you half-hearted? In your life right now, I just encourage you to just go all in. Don't be lukewarm. Just turn it up 1 degree, and it will turn from just barely being warm to start boiling. In your life right now, to do it. Number 8 is significance. Significance. When you start achieving a level of success with your life and your family, I don't know what success is to you. I was talking to our guys today, and we were talking about this a lot. What is success? You got to decide what success is, or you'll be scared of it. You got to decide what success is in your industry right now. What's success in your family? What's success in your life? I have friends of mine want homes in multiple states, and they want one more yacht, and they want one more jet, and you may judge them for it. I don't judge anybody for anything, because I've also got a little lady in Haiti that tomorrow morning needs antibiotic and food for her daughter. And she would call that success. Come on. Look me in the eye while I look you in the heart. And tell me, what is it? I built an organization. We had 500 employees, 5,000 volunteers. I don't have a college degree. I believe in education, but I believe sometimes it's overrated. There's something about real-time warfare that changes everything. And we just read off our report of 80 million meals and 800 house churches. It went around the globe. And Jack DeBartolo, his uncle, owns the 49ers, or he did. And when we got done reading it, sorry, I'll always remember this. He looked me square in the eye and he goes, "Are you successful?" And I said, "Sir, I don't know." Effective? Maybe. efficient, but I don't know about success. He said to me, you better figure out. Because if anybody else looked at this report, they would not only say you're successful, they would say you are uber. And he said, if you don't know what it is, you'll never know how to protect it. What are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? Number 8 is significance. I just encourage you. One of my favorite times in my life, we used to be a part of bringing about 3,000 teenagers to Orlando every year, and we would take them to SeaWorld and stand them by the shark tank and teach them how to swim with the sharks and stay alive, and then we would take them to all these places. It was incredible. But my favorite part of the week was on Wednesday night at about 9:30, after they had been in the heat all day long, and they were humidity everywhere, and they had eaten, and they hadn't slept in days, and we had a session there on significance. And I got to lead it. And I would watch these young people, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, kind of be nodding off and all of this. And when I would say significance, I knew something about them that they didn't know I knew. Do you know what it was? They were scared to death. They were going to live their life and not matter. If you want to see a child who is torn to pieces on the inside, it's somebody that does not know what significance is and do not have a vision for their life. And I would watch them straighten up and get their notebooks out, and they would listen for the 3 ingredients that causes you to have significance. And it changed their life. Sometime we'll do a session on it. Significance. I was blessed that I was raised in a home by a father that was homeless from the time he was 12 to 19 years old. He had a 7th grade education. And he would get me up every day, Robert. He'd put his arm around me. And he'd say to me, you're going to change the world, son. Maybe that's where I get it from now, where I will look at Paul Roberts in the eye and go, you are going to make a difference in this world. Maybe it's why I will look at George in the eye and say, George, your best days are ahead of you. It's why I may look at Paul in the eye and go, you have great things coming to your life. And most people don't believe it, and they run and hide in isolation. But I want you to know I'll come in there and find you. I'll come looking for you, and I'll remind you, whether you want me to or not, that greatness was meant for you. And if you will lead yourself well and not tolerate the things that cause you to fail, you'll win. Bob Buford, in his book called Halftime, if you've never read it, I would encourage you to get it. It's a book that many, many years ago radically changed my life. Bob was huge in the telecom industry, and he wanted to leave his business and go into full-time ministry. And all of his ministry friends begged him not to do it, because they said, as soon as you become this, all your friends that you have the greatest amount of influence on will never take your call again. He wrote about the struggles that can occupy most of our lives. But he said, for those fortunate enough not to be consumed with survival matters like disease and hunger and poverty, we are fortunate enough, perhaps, that we can transform that struggle into success. Whatever it is that looks like it's working against you right now is actually working in your favor. But you got to get your mind right. You got to see it differently. Number 9, we all need peace. We all need peace. I just encourage you, there is no wise warrior that would ever go to war without first having peace in their heart. I said it. Peace gives you the ability to process and think. That's number 9. Number 10, and I close, is soulfulness. I encourage you. You got to get beyond you. And you got to look into your soul and find out, how do I get a hold of the part of me that's bigger than anything I could ever imagine? I can just tell you, in your soul, you will tame your ego, and you will tame the greed that can overwhelm your life. I want you to know this is a great, great quote by Walter M. Miller. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. Right now, that's the part of you that makes who you are. So I just want to encourage you to pause in this moment and get someplace quiet where you can look inside of yourself and say, how am I doing on my self-leadership? Am I leading myself well, or am I trying to find an easy way out? And I want to tell you right now, companies will tell you it's hard to get people to invest yourself. Can I tell you, you don't see this at churches. You don't see this at churches. And I am so honored that you're here. I want to ask you to stay with us all year. And I want to ask you to bring some friends, some family, some more teenagers, some more warriors, some people that do church work, people that do conventional work, that do business work, that do school work. I want you to bring them, because we're going to pour into them. Why are we wanting to pour into them? Because we want right now to be sharper than we've ever been as we begin to come after our fight. So I got a question for you tonight. Has this been helpful? Okay, I got a second question. I want you to commit. I want you to commit to inviting more and more people. And we're going to watch God grow this. And we're going to have an army of people that are going to change the world. I even believe that guys around the country are going to say, can I get 60, 100 people in a room, and can we watch this together? We're going to have a watch party, and we're going to grow together. Hey, your greatest days are ahead of you. What an honor to have you tonight. We at G5 appreciate it. I want you to put something in your calendar. Can you do it for me? April 19th, 20th, and 21st. April 19th, 20th, and 21st. April 19th, 20th, and 21st. We're having G5 conference here. It is the craziest place you've ever been. I'm telling you, most conferences you go to, do you know what they do? They teach you how to do what you do. At this conference, we teach you how to be and transform it so that you can do at a level you never dreamed possible. It's an environment that is so life-changing, and I can't wait to see you here, and bring somebody with you. I love you. I'm going to pray, and then we'll be released. Did I tell you I love you? Did I tell you how much I'm grateful that you're here? Now, if I said something tonight that was tough and you didn't like, just forgive me. Chew on it a while, and all of a sudden you'll like me better. I promise you that right now, okay? Father, we thank you for this evening. I thank you for every leader in this room, for every dream that's represented here. And I just pray that these words on motivation and on getting out of that comfort zone, Lord, would challenge us, that we would be challenged by self-leadership. I pray for increase. I pray for abundance. I pray for open doors. I pray for open heavens on every one of these lives. God, as we grow, we're going to plant this year, and we're going to allow you to do a work in us so that you will be glorified. In your name we pray, Jesus. Everybody said amen, amen, amen. Love you so much. It's so good to have you. Bree, do you need anything else here? We'll see you 9 o'clock on Sunday or 11 o'clock, okay?
You believe for a lot tomorrow. If you believe for a little